Hello, everyone. This is the Indie Gamer podcast, not led by the Indie Gamer. Hopefully, he'll be here in a second. But it's nice to see everyone in chat already. And yeah, Goat Force, great guest. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. Great to be here with all of you. Love seeing everybody in the chat. I'm looking at the invite that Indy sent me the other day, asking me if I could join. It said, "Hey, Goat, I'd love to have you on so that you could talk about Noida for about 3.5 hours. Would that be okay?" And I said, I would be honored to do that.
Yeah.
So I've got detailed notes, and I'm just waiting for him to say go.
Okay, let's put a stop to this right now.
Here he is.
No, Indy, we don't need you now. We've got a 2-hour NITO podcast coming up, so let's get on with that.
I love it. That was actually quite fun, actually, just to pull the plug on myself for a second and just let you hopefully you can hear me now, guys. I have got a meter going up and down, so I'm guessing that is correct now. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, basically what happened there is I did an update and it reset all my settings, so that was including the settings in OBS. So apologies, guys. I had a little sidestep for Luke there. I thought he did an amazing job. Let's do that more often.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. It is the Indie Games Podcast return, the first show of 2023. Very excited to be back, hanging out with you guys. And yeah, we've got an awesome show planned for you. Looking forward and ahead for 2023 as a whole, with many games that we're looking forward to. And of course, we're going to be diving into our favorite roguelikes with the roguelike master himself. But yeah, let's go ahead and introduce this legend. As I say, we have got an awesome guest. He's back on the show. He's been on the channel before. You know him very well, I'm sure. It's the legend that is GoatForce Gaming returning. How are you doing, brother?
Doing very, very well. Thanks so much for having me back. Good to be here. Love talking games with anybody. I've got a great coffee going. I wanted to get something good for the show, so I've got something from a roaster out of Philadelphia, La Colombe, and it's got notes of caramel cream, blackberry jam, and spice cake, and
bringing the class.
It's doing me pretty well, I gotta say. So happy Friday to everybody. It's great to be here.
That is fantastic stuff, buddy. And yeah, so as Stubbs has just put in the chat, definitely something we wanted to celebrate today, which you've already done on your channel, which is your 1,000 subscribers, hitting that, my friend. So yeah, massive congratulations on that. Breaking through the 1,000 subscriber mark, that's an awesome achievement, and you well deserve it for the awesome content you put out there. So again, congratulations, buddy.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, that was really cool to see happen. And I've met so many fantastic people along the way. It's been an awesome journey since 2020. Never thought it would get to where it got to, but it's been really, really neat. So thanks. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. And then shout out to Stubbsy Baby in the chat saying so as well. But just before we get to the chat shout outs, guys, and thank you again for joining us, GoatForce, of course. But I'm going to get to my partner in crime. Always a pleasure to hang with this guy on the Indie Games Podcast. It is my brother Luke, still bringing the class as always, bringing the awesome knowledge to gaming. How are you doing, bro? How's it going?
Yeah, no, very well. Yeah, GoatForce's drink of choice is excellent. I'm a big coffee head, as you know. Yeah, big coffee head. I've actually been semi at a work event, so I've been having some Camden Lager, which has notes of hops more than anything. So, so I'll be a bit spicier maybe on this show. But it's great to be back, as you said earlier on the pre-show. It's not even January now, but I'm kind of happy about that. So forget about that month. We're in February and we're back on the Indie Games Podcast, so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we just skipped January, as you guys probably noticed. Yeah, but
dry January, for podcasts, so could be a thing.
Definitely, and yeah, no, it's sometimes good just to take a little break and then come back fresh. And I feel fresh today. It's going to be a good one. But yeah, so many great people in the chat as well. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We have got Paul AFC in the house. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. We have got the legend, the mod master, the mod squad in the house, led by Meisugo. How you doing, brother? Great to see you in. Thank you very much for being here. And we have Stubbs Gaming, as we could see as well, saying that you couldn't hear me for a bit. But great to see you in as well, Stubbsy Baby. Thank you very much for being here. As you can see, I'm trying out a little thing with popping up the chat messages, which you've brought in. Hopefully that's working okay and you like what you see. Want to bring you guys into the show a bit more, and any comments that you put in in there, we'll sort of basically pop them up and make it a point of discussion, essentially. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone who's hanging out with us. As I say, anyone else I've missed? Meisuko, as I say, Stubbsy baby. Anyone else who's in hanging with us, definitely feel free to drop into the chat. It's always great to read your messages, but also, you know, feel free to share this out as well. We'd appreciate it greatly. Get some more awesome people in here. Let's hang and chat some indie games and celebrate them, basically, guys. So yeah, I thought what we'd do is a little catch up, because it's been a little while, as I say. Last time we did one was in December, podcast wise. Been doing some videos. Hope you've been enjoying that. Last one I did was the review of Season. Hope you enjoyed that, and if you haven't already checked out, definitely feel free to do so. It'd mean a lot. But yeah, I thought we'd do a catch up, guys. Maybe what we've been playing, and just sort of like check in with each other, I suppose you could say. I'm going to go to Luke on this one firstly, I think, just to catch up with you, brother. You've been playing much. I know you say you're at work at the moment, but yeah, much time. We've had a long time to divulge from, you know, a month's worth of playing, I guess you could say. Anything juicy that you've played over the last month or so?
Yeah, I guess over the last a month's a long time again, isn't it? So I've been playing quite a lot of stuff, but I'll give the highlights. So the last week or two, I've been quite busy at work, so I haven't had a chance to play lots and lots. But I've been playing the Dead Space remake on PC, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I know, Indy, you're a big Dead Space fan.
I am so jealous right now. Yeah. But yeah, as we discussed, I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm trying to have restraint with it at the moment, because I know it's going to drop heavily in price.
Yes, it will. It will. It's coming. But I can tell you that when you get it, you will not be disappointed.
Amazing.
Because it is an incredible experience. And obviously not an indie game, but we talk about other games here. But you know, just man, like I'll say this as well. Everybody was anticipating Callisto Protocol, and I've nearly finished that game, and it's solid. You know, it's not. I don't want to say it's a bad game, because it isn't. But you go back to Dead Space, and obviously I know it's been heavily enhanced and stuff, but you realize how incredible that game is in comparison. You know, Callisto just doesn't really get close to what Dead Space did in any way, in terms of atmosphere, mechanics, any of that. So
nice. Well, that is good to hear. That's pretty cool. And yeah, obviously the Dead Space is crushing that as well. I mean, I heard Easy Allies, they said it was a 7 kind of thing. I think Michael Huber, big fan of Easy Allies, shout out to them. But yeah, it's one of those games that didn't quite meet its potential, wasn't it, Callisto? But no, it's a shame.
Yeah, shame. You know, it's a good game, not a bad game, but it didn't quite meet up, I think, expectations. At least for me. But Dead Space Remake is just unbelievably good.
Amazing.
You know, the way that they've changed elements of the game in ways that make sense, but that are unexpected. You know, additional content. The Ishimura's a single level now. There's no loading.
Okay, cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, really cool. Visually amazing. One of the best looking things I've seen this gen.
Yeah.
And the sound design is just unbelievably good. It is just amazing. It is almost, it's such a audio visual experience. It's kind of overwhelming, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like it's, it kind of, you can't quite believe what you're seeing and hearing. And obviously being a survival horror game and necromorphs and all that sort of thing, it's pretty terrifying to listen to.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. So I've been playing that, would highly recommend. Other than that, I have been playing Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Like it's a really incredible game, I think. And out of the last few years of, I guess, first party published stuff, that is the most indie sensible game I think there is.
I noticed that.
Because it's a pure passion project.
Yes.
You can just tell.
It's awesome,
the genre is, art style, everything is just super what you'd expect from, you know, an indie dev with a good budget, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Great game, would recommend. And then apart from that, I've not been playing too much other than I've been using the Steam Deck for some emulation, actually.
Oh, cool.
Some old games that I have from various platforms that I sometimes never even got to play because I didn't have the platform. I just had the game randomly. But some GameCube stuff, for example, which is awesome. I've been playing Metroid Prime, which has been amazing,
Nice. Yeah,
to play that on a handheld.
That is awesome. Yeah. I think I saw you playing Metal Gear Solid. I think
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2.
Nice. Old school.
So yeah, I've had the PlayStation 2 copy, the classics version, for like 20 years. So I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can emulate this properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been doing that. But yeah, the two main games have been those two. So Dead Space and Hi-Fi Rush. And it's been a great start to the year in terms of gaming as well. So may it continue.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, great little list of games there, and it has been an amazing start to the year. Cannot wait for this one. This is honestly, I know I say it every time, but this year really does feel like it's going to be, the best year. I mean, there's so much out, and we're going to talk about in a bit, obviously, about the amount of awesome games coming. It's going to be a banger of a year, excuse the expression. One for the fans of banger there. But yeah, great stuff, Luke, buddy. That's fantastic. So, Mr. GoForce Gaming, I know you play a lot of different games on your channel. You guys have to check out that channel, by the way, if you haven't already. The link is in the description below, by the way. But yeah, GoForce, brother. What have you been playing over, maybe the start of this year? Have you been tucking into much juicy goodness over there?
It's a ton of stuff lately. In fact, I also fired up Dead Space just the other morning, and I could not agree more with everything that Luke said. Now, it sounds like you're a little bit further than me in it. I'm about an hour in, but what you mentioned about the sound work that they have done, the environmental and the atmospheric sounds, there is dread around every corner. And, if you think about maybe the first time you experienced PT, and the atmospheric sounds of that game, and how there really was a visceral fear of stepping down that hallway over and over again. They have nailed that in this game, and you just feel it. It's a wonderful experience. So I'm really enjoying Dead Space. I'm hoping to spend more time with that over the weekend. I did load up some Hi-Fi Rush. Turns out I'm not great at rhythm games. Maybe I don't have rhythm. I wanted to like it. I just couldn't do well at it. And I just said, you know what? This is only going to climb in difficulty, and I'm not going to be able to find my way up the mountain. So let's get off the mountain now. And that's what I did. I jumped off the mountain. It's funny you talked about the Steam Deck emulation, because I have been playing around with the idea of maybe going back to MAME. I geeked out on arcade game emulation years and years ago when I had a much crappier PC. And now, I'm thinking about maybe I want to do some MAME again. Some X-Men arcade game or a Simpsons arcade game. I mean, my goodness. Can we get remakes of those two games? Why can't we have nice things? We need some nice things, right?
So I completed Shredder's Revenge just before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, these devs need to make like a Simpsons arcade sequel.
Definitely.
Yes.
Like they could do such, because I remember playing that game in the arcades, years and years ago. And it's a great game. And I'm just like, they could do so much with something like that.
Yeah, they could definitely. They'd be the team for it for sure. They're awesome at that. Yeah, that would be fantastic stuff. Yeah, no, good stuff they go for. So you've been playing some Dead Space as well. You guys aren't making it any easier for me to hold off on Dead Space.
It's great. It's really, really good.
I do feel really bad about it, because it is a game which I said I would make an allowance for, if I'm honest, to just pick up. But I don't know, with the whole EA Play thing, and what I could do is I could get a £15 subscription or something for 1 month and play it. But I want to buy it on Steam. I don't want to get it through anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, you guys have libraries out there, right? Libraries where you go and get the books and the rest of the stuff. Okay. Well, some of the libraries have video games.
Yeah, I've heard that actually. Yeah.
I mean, you may want to check into that. It's that's how I'm playing it.
It's not so much, I guess, the money really. It's more about the time as well. It's just sort of, once I open it up, it's going to be. I don't know. I do love it so much, that game. One of the other things is like it obviously looks absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning, but the original was also it still holds up in my opinion. I know it looks incredibly better now, but well, how do you feel about like remakes in that regard? Do you feel like it's a necessary thing? Just as a quick little nugget, like, do you feel like there was enough time for it to get a remake? It was quite soon after, isn't it?
It is, but I think those kind of remakes, like, you have basically like two kind of remakes, I think, these days, ignoring remasters for a second, because they're just not really, they're not a huge leap over what the original game was doing. But like, you've got a game that fundamentally needs to be changed because the gameplay is so archaic that it just wouldn't work now. So stuff like your Final Fantasy VII, your Resident Evil 2 remakes, right? Mm-hmm. Where they're kind of more like spiritual reboots of the original game. And then you had games like Dead Space and things like The Last of Us Part 1, where the game isn't that old. It's like 10 years. And the gameplay is still very solid. It just needs slightly tweaking, but more than anything, it needs like a huge visual and audio uplift.
Yeah.
So I actually really like that version because it's a testament, for Dead Space, for example, of how well that game still plays.
It definitely.
And the thing is that game is still out there. You can still go and play that, enjoy that if you want,
exactly, know.
But I think if you either want kind of the nostalgia trip without having to see the ugly brown world of the original Dead Space, you can get that from the remake because it is so faithful but also so modern now. Yeah, I would really recommend it because you can go back and play the original Dead Space, and I did this with the Last of Us. Right before I got Part 1, I played the PlayStation 4 remaster, which was just a slightly better visual version of the PS3 game. And then you go to like the PS5 remake, and just the quality of life stuff that they introduced just makes it a better game. Like it just does, now. So, and I think that's the same for Dead Space, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's just an interesting one, I think. But yeah, it's one of those games. It's just one of my favorites of all time. So it's good to see, and they've done such an incredible job on it. Clearly, I just know I'll love that. When I do, I will obviously dive back in, and I'm gonna adore it. And hopefully they'll do Dead Space 2 as well now after this one being a success. That would be awesome. Because Dead Space not 3 though. Yeah, maybe unless they change the whole fundamental of the game, that would be amazing.
Yeah. if they make a new game and call it 3, that would be amazing. Don't remake 3.
Yeah, call it maybe Dead Space 3, the way it should have been. That's the subline. yeah. Where if EA would have kept out of it, basically. That's a bit of a long subtitle, but yeah, we'll stick it in. But yeah, no, it's an amazing franchise, and definitely cannot wait to play it again for sure. And it looks like a lot of people are diving into it, which is quite interesting to see. Because. It's one of those games where you could have waited on, some people think, but so it's good to see it is enticing people in and getting them to play, which I feel bad I'm not doing, but there we go. I will get to it. Life is what it is. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things. It's like so many games, isn't it, always? And when you're interested in indies as much as us guys, then it's even harder, if you know what I mean. If you're just interested in AAAs, it's easier to get to everything.
You've got to pick and choose and be very careful. Because it's easy to put a lot of time into triple A's if you're trying to keep up with each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to keep pace with Meisuko because he's gonna finish 87 games this year. So, you know what I mean?
He will, literally. He's on a mission, I think. Shout out to Meisuko.
He's always on the mission.
Yeah, he's finished the Pathless recently. I know Luke really enjoyed that game as well, and both of you guys are now telling me I need to play it, so I need to get on with that as well.
Very good, very good.
Love it. Shout out to some more of you guys who are coming through. We've got BMG in the house. Great to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. And who else do we have coming through? We've got lots of conversation going on, games you've been playing. Paul AFC, Meisuko, Stubbs Gaming, everyone joining us. Thank you very much for being here, guys. It really is greatly appreciated. So, let's go. Actually, I'll tell you what, I might as well say what I've been playing. I always forget to do that. I'm just a host. I'm actually just hired to, ask questions. But no, I do play games as well. So, I'll let you know what I've been playing. Recently, as you saw, probably, I got a review of Season. Check it out, as I say, on the channel. Love that game. I know Luke is looking forward to diving into that. I don't think you've dived in yet, though, have you, Luke?
No, I've been saving it.
Yeah, sure.
So I want to get through Dead Space.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it's the next game I want to play, especially after your review, which is really great, by the way. I'd recommend people check that out.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
No, you're very welcome. But as you know, I've been looking forward to that game ever since it was unveiled, basically.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It just looks like such an incredible experience.
Awesome. Yeah, it is really a perfect game to play straight after an intense game like Dead Space, I'd say. to bring you back into the relaxed world, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to like I'm really interested in the story, especially. But actually, when I was watching your review, and I kind of had it on my TV, and I was like, damn, this is just like such an incredible artistic world to live in. Like, the aesthetic of that game is just incredible, and I was like, I just want to go somewhere and take some pictures.
That's perfect for that,
and do that kind of stuff. Ride my bike, it just seems like such a chill experience if you want it to be. So
that's exactly it. Yeah. I think with the story, you can take it in quite a few different ways, so I won't spoil anything on that more than what I did on the review. I think if it's got a lot of emotion in its core, so that's a nice element to it. But in general, like, just the relaxing sort of feel it gives off as well is beautiful. You can just go around taking photos and just be content, and that's what the game wants you to be, is just content. I think it doesn't want you to push pacing on you or anything like that. It wants you to just take it at a leisurely pace and just be at one with the world, essentially. So I recommend it greatly. Obviously, I know Meisuko can't wait, and it's so up his street, so I definitely think he's going to be checking out. I look forward to hearing what both of you think of it as well. So but otherwise, last night I played the game Trinity Fusion that I checked out at EGX, and I did the interview with the developer at EGX. Do you remember that? Yeah. They got a beta at the moment. I played the beta of it last night, and it's actually really, really good. I feel like it's tighter and more impactful now or something, but really enjoying what I played of that. It's a roguelike, by the way, GoatForce. You need to get this one on your radar.
Okay. All right. I'm with you.
I think
the audience is listening.
Yes, indeed. This might be one I would talk about in a minute as well, so I won't go into too much detail, but I'll go into more detail on Trinity Fusion in a minute. But I think it's right up your street. It's like, it's roguelite, I think, more than anything, and it's Metroidvania as well. It's not full on, but in a light element to it, so it's got a bit of a blend. But feels great to play. It's like 2D side on, but I'll go to detail in a moment. But that's a cool game I've been playing a little of, and I'm going to carry on with that for sure. What else have I been playing? God, it's been a while, hasn't it? I've been getting ready for Steam Next Fest, which is another thing which is coming on Monday, by the way, guys. So I've been downloading demos for that, so it's going to be even more crazy. But I've been playing Proteus as well. A bit of that. It's awesome. First-person shooter.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good, isn't it? It's just badass.
Yes. I love that game.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's on Game Pass as well, guys, on PC as well as Xbox, so check out Proteus if you like Doom, the old school Doom, but brought up to a bit of a modern feel, because it has got some actually oddly sort of like, it's very pixelite in first person 3D world, but it's got some really nice beautiful touches to it, hasn't it? Like, there's some cool lighting at parts and stuff like that, and it just looks amazing. But feels great to play. Impactful shooting mechanics. Yeah, I've been playing Ollie Ollie World as well. I'm trying to think back, it's been a while. I've played a lot since. Obviously, I played Immortality. That's something we didn't discuss since last time. Oh God, we've opened up a can of worms.
No. It's gonna be 2 hours of this now.
Yeah, but I mean, Immortality. I've just got to say, well, we haven't discussed it on a podcast yet on this channel. Anyway, I might have discussed it if you're on another channel, maybe, Luke. Did I? Or on yours, was it?
I don't know. I think we just DM'd about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing game, Immortality. It literally took over my life, and I was obsessed by it, basically. So yeah, once you get sucked into that game, it's it works its magic on you, and you just really. I found myself really driven by the mystery and wanting to find out every single piece of it and put it all together. You feel like you're like a detective that's got too close to the case or something. You know what I mean? That's how I felt anyway. But it was in a glorious way. It sucked me in, and yeah, it's hard because you don't want to spoil too much of that game, do you? But the way it's put together, it's just incredibly well done. If you think about it as a concept, coming up with that idea, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, man, it's such a. I don't know if you watched the Easy Allies Game of the Year show.
I did actually, yeah.
I loved the way they did one of the entries for Immortality. Yeah, it was brilliant. I was there laughing, and my wife was like, "What are you laughing at?" Well, I don't get it. And I was like, "Oh, you got to play the game to understand."
So you mean the? Yeah, I shouldn't even. Should I say? Well, I suppose it's in the video. I don't know. You mean with the one?
The way.
Do you mean that bit? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those. I always I've said this, I think, before to you, but I always measure games sometimes on their impactfulness or how good I think they are by how much I remember them a long time after I've played them, or how much I'll find myself thinking about them randomly. So I've always said to you, Soma, I still think about that every couple of days, 6-7 years later after playing it. And I've got a lot of other games like that. Immortality is one of those games now where I'm like, oh man, that was such a great game. What a great story. And I imagine you'll be the same. A year from now, you'll be like, "Oh man, Definitely. Immortality! What a great time I had with it. What a great story."
100%.
And to me, is the mark of a great game. The one that you revisit in your mind well after you've put the controller down. So. It's an incredible game. I'm just glad finally, after all this time, after all, me trying to tell you to play Outer Wilds and get you that game that you can connect with on that level. We found the one that you can be like, yes, I recognize how great that game is.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it was one that came out, and I did know it was kind of up my street, but I hadn't played a previous Sambalo game, so maybe that was why I didn't jump in straight away, if you know what I mean. It's just incredible, and like you say, I don't know if you had this, but once I'd finished it, I have 100%ed it as well. You don't have to do that, and I know you haven't done 100%, but you've played it very thoroughly, and I just felt the need because I'm just obsessive, basically. But it was. I don't do that with all games, just to clarify. I'm not an achievement hunter in any way, but that game is. I felt like because of all the story elements, there's some things you can miss to beat the game. I thought I would love to see all of this and have the full picture. Because with it being, I was going to say, after I'd finished it, I was so compelled to just carry on, looking it up online and just finding out more and more about it. And because the discussion online is really interesting, there's lots of great videos with, what does it all mean and that kind of thing, and that I love the conversation that continues after the game, which is a special thing. It's kind of I love those sorts of games really, and I highly recommend it. And thank you, Luke, for giving me the nudge there, which I needed to get on that, because it was probably my retrospectively it was probably my indie game of the year, even though I played it a little bit at the end of last year and some start of this year kind of thing as a whole, over the Christmas period basically. It was just phenomenal. Please play it, guys. Immortality. Some people were quite confused by it, I find. You've noticed that probably as well. A lot of people don't know what the hell's going on. But that's kind of the beauty. And it's intentionally like that. They open up the canvas for you to just don't guide you in any way, so you can actually just then find your own way, I think, for it, because anything would spoil the mystery. So play the game and keep tapping and keep looking through, everything, and it'll all come together the more you play. I feel like that's the most simplest way to say it, and you should hopefully then get under its spell, basically. But yeah, that's awesome. Immortality, definitely one of my favorites, and went straight up into the pole position really for the game of the year. Some awesome people coming into the chat as well. We've got Dragon Wolf in the house as well. It's awesome to see you in, my friend. A Friendly Pest is joining us as well. Thank you very much for coming by, buddy. Great seeing all you guys hanging out and chatting so much. We've got Meisuko bringing some awesome takes about Pathless, saying the Pathless is so cool, the travel is so smart, and that they made the open world with more dynamic with the boost mechanism. Talking about pictures, I also was playing Totem, which is in a black and white cool photography based game, which looks interesting as well. I've actually got that through Humble Bundle, I think. And another wholesome photography indie game. Great takes from Meisuko as always. Great stuff, buddy. Fantastic stuff, guys. Let's move away from myself. Probably, I think I could probably go on forever with what I've been playing, but there's been a lot. But I think Immortality is, that's sort of taken over as in the most impactful game I've played, I guess, over the last period. But so shall we move on, guys, to our first topic of the day, I suppose, the main topic-ish kind of thing. We've got the two main topics today. One will be our favorite roguelike games of all time, I suppose you could say. Some games we want to highlight that are awesome roguelikes. We have the master for that, Mr. Roguelike himself, Goat Force Gaming. I need to call you Mr. Roguelike then. That would actually be quite a good name.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
We've got you, my friend, and Luke as well. I know you love your roguelikes too, buddy. And then after that topic, we'll get on to some upcoming indie games for 2023. But most of all, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well in the chat, guys. So definitely let us know what your favorite roguelike games are, and just, keep hanging out. We'd love to see you in. Thank you very much for being here. So, yes, let's move on then. I'll move the screen forward. And, probably we should see roguelike games. You know what they're sure, guys. We should probably get Go for roguelike games. A little quick description for anyone who doesn't know what a roguelike is before we tuck in Go Force. How about the Martin set? What's a roguelike?
Oh my! The stage.
Sorry about that.
No, it's totally fine. So, different takes out there about what a roguelike is and, how they compare to roguelites. But basically, roguelikes are games that include some generation. They're runs. You're going to go on your run. You're going to lose. You're going to start back at square one. Gain knowledge of the game. That knowledge is going to allow you to push forward. Roguelikes, they also have the generation element, whether that's world building or the stats you come in with, what have you. Still run based typically, but at the end of your run, the currency you built up, whether they're relics or baubles or gold, whatever it is, you're going to bring it back to some kind of hub world. You're going to go to the shopkeep and say, I would like some additional health on a permanent basis. And then you're going to go back in, you're going to do your run, and you're going to get a little bit further each time because you've got stat progression.
Perfect. That is a perfect explanation. The great way to warm up to this topic. Apologies for the audio there, guys. As always, I literally did all of them, and then the last minute I added in a trailer, and it's one I forgot to take the audio out of. Sorry about that, guys. But I think you got probably the most of that, and Go Force with a bit of a backdrop to music. It's always nice. But thanks.
Perfect.
Fantastic stuff. Only for a little bit of that I took that out halfway. But that's lovely. No, great take there. It's good to know. Most people probably know what a roguelike is who are checking out this, I reckon, especially if you're an indie game fan. There's a lot of roguelikes in the indie world, and they're shining bright. But nice to get a little take, just in case it was something you haven't dived into as much, because it's a great genre to get into. It opens up many awesome games if you haven't checked them out already. But let's go straight to you, Go Force, my friend, and let's start off with some of our favorite roguelikes that we've played. Some you want to highlight, I suppose you could say, as well. Maybe we'll go through, you know, a handful, and then we'll move on, and we'll come back round for another round if you like. Sound good?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. You know, in the general scheme of things, my favorite roguelikes are the ones that I'm playing currently. And it just kind of rotates. I have a really tough time picking out my favorites because I like so many of them. And as you mentioned, a lot of them do come from indie devs, and there's just a constant deluge of new games hitting. I mean, it's a literal fire hose of games. So it's impossible to keep up with all of them. And, you know, as Dragon Wolf mentions, he's thanking me for his Vampire Survivors addiction. You're welcome.
Good shout.
It is, you know, some of these games set the hook, and as you're hooked, you've got 17 other games coming out every minute, and it's tough to stay hooked on one. But, you know, some of them really do a good job. So some of my favorites that come to mind, Noida, it's standout. You know, when I go back and play Noida, it's like seeing old friends again. Noida is an action roguelike where you're playing the role of a wizard, and you're trying to get to the bottom of the stage and progress through its 5 or 6 worlds, if I recall correctly. And as you're seeing on the screen, it's all about not blowing yourself up in dozens and dozens of ways.
Sorry, that was a terrible smut there.
Yeah.
Look, I won't cut that later. I won't edit that, I promise. I'm so sorry. Carry on, my friend. I've been around some dirty people, haven't I?
Yes. How dare you?
Yeah, no, it's so true. You're 100% correct. It's such a kind of sensitive game, is it? You got to be a bit careful, haven't you, when you play for it?
It truly is.
Yeah.
It truly is. And they do this thing where every individual pixel has physics tied to it. And so it's just got a really neat look to the game. It's very dynamic. You'll never have the same experience twice. And that just makes it so special. So I went back and played some Noida before the Christmas holiday. And that was a lot of fun. So Noida's standout.
Yeah, I know how much you're passionate about this game. I've experienced the full passion.
I was going to ask you, what is your favorite roguelike and why is it Noida?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I played it, I know I love the the physics-based action of the game. It's quite unique in that sense. I really enjoyed the unpredictability of it. It's really cool.
Yes,
I love a lot about it, actually. But there was something I just didn't click with me as much. If I'm 100% honest, maybe it's the visuals. If I'm shallow as I am, I don't know.
You know what I'm hearing you say right now is that you need to play 100 more hours of Noida. That's what I hear in this.
Absolutely.
We've gotten to the bottom of it. We've figured it out. We have 14 witnesses watching now. 15 witnesses.
Love it.
Yeah. So we'll all be expecting some Noida from you soon.
Sounds good.
Hades is definitely a standout title. It is the godfather of roguelites. It is the hello world of roguelites. Anybody that has played Hades and enjoyed it may have gotten to a point at the end where they said, boy, you know what? I wonder what else is out there that I might also like to play. And maybe they stumble upon Curse of the Dead Gods from there. There's many titles with this top-down action roguelite view where you're gaining some kind of currency and bringing it back to, a mirror, buying some upgrades, buying some boosts to your weapons. And, it just feels good. The progression treadmill feels good. But what's stellar about this game is that we've got just such a great way of storytelling that takes place here.
Yeah.
Just such a fantastic setup for how it all unfolds. So Hades is just a wonderful game.
Hades is the ultimate, isn't it? As we all will agree on this show right now, all three of us are well in that camp. It's a truly epic game, and it's the perfect access point as well if you haven't checked out roguelikes before, isn't it? It's, that story is just so well, it evolves so well, doesn't it? But yeah, it's a great way into roguelikes. If you like Hades, it opens up the world of Mr. Goatforce Gaming and his YouTube channel, who will guide you on the way to many more other roguelike experiences, basically.
It's true. It's true. I'll mention two others.
Cool. Sounds good.
Vampire Survivors. You look at a game like this and you go, well, how is that a game? How is this game that popular? How has this game taken the world by storm? Well, because it's so simple. And then when you sit down and play it, you realize that there is such a deep complexity to this game. There's so much to think about with it. So many different builds, so many different ways to optimize, and so many of those blue, delicious pegs to collect and gang experience and new capabilities. It's incredible. I have gotten my wife addicted to it. My mom and dad play this game. My retired parents play this game. They're not gamers. They're playing Vampire Survivors. There's something about this thing. It's just pure addiction, and it's wonderful. And not only that, it has spawned so many games like it. It has created a subgenre in the roguelite space that people still don't know what the hell to call these things. Bullet heavens, reverse bullet hells, auto shooter survivals, arena roguelites. People don't know what the hell to call these things. But they're great. All of them are great, and I play them all. And I would tell you that I like 97% of the bullet heaven games that I play. They're just tremendous.
Yeah, I've noticed that the games you've been playing recently on the channel, quite a few of them have been of this, fundamental build of style, with the auto shooter aspect and that. It's interesting, isn't it? It shows how powerful this game has been and influential, basically.
It absolutely is. And now you have devs out there that are taking the assets and the sounds from games that they put out previously, and they are using them to create a quick and dirty bullet heaven game and putting it out on the marketplace and saying, hey man, maybe it'll stick. Yeah. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite things, and you made a good point, Goatforce, about it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is with Vampire Survivors that draws you to it. But I read an interview with the kind of lead dev, and I found it really interesting because his background was actually in slot machines. So he did a ton of work for slot machine graphics, and he was saying when he was designing this, he was like, I just made it like a slot machine, in terms of the aesthetic and visual appearance and the kind of the tensile feedback of how you're rewarded in the game. And if you look at it, if you extract it, if you have that context in mind, and when you look at the game, you're like, actually, it's kind of like, dazzling colors everywhere and like positive reinforcement for everything that you do, and like everything is driven by some kind of visual feedback. And I think that's the thing that it like no other game in this kind of subgenre can do, because he's like designed it with such a specific idea, right down to just the chest opening and stuff like that. Like you're rewarded for everything, and obviously the difference being you're not chucking like tons of money into it. You pay your £3 or you get it in Game Pass and off you go. So it's got this real like dopamine hit kind of visual to it. It's really fascinating, just his approach to game design. But it's an amazing game.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's just pure addiction. It's got a great loop to it, and it's one of those games where just one more run, one more run, and now it's on mobile, and now you're taking your runs along with you. You got people playing Vampire Survivors probably on their drive to work.
Yeah,
they're out there surviving vampires and traffic all at the same time.
Yeah, playing 2 games at once. I think I saw a tweet earlier saying, "Is it possible to play 2 games at once?" And someone said, "If it's Vampire Survivors in the other game."
Yeah. Yes.
So there we go. Yeah, that was Humble Games, I think, who tweeted out that question.
That's tremendous. The last one I'll mention is Darkest Dungeon.
Nice.
And Darkest Dungeon is it's one of my top of all time. I think I put like 180 hours into the first game, and when you start to play that game, you go, oh my God, I'm losing all my people. They're dying on me, and they're getting stressed out, and my goodness, what to do? And then after about 40 or 50 hours of that game, you go, you know what? I'm numb to this. And now I don't care that these people are dying. And then you realize that is how you're supposed to play this game. People are going to die. It's going to be okay.
Yep.
It'll be all right. And you start to learn the systems, and you pay that game back for what it did to you in the first 40 or 50 hours of that game.
I like it.
And it feels great. So everybody should experience that game. Many will bounce off of it because of the pain. It is agony and overwhelming defeat in the air. It's so thick you could slice it with a knife, but it has this beautiful taste. You just have to take my word for it. And everybody should play this game. It's on Game Pass now.
Yeah,
I just added it recently.
That was quite a cool little addition, wasn't it? Yeah. So Darkest Dungeon 2, is that in early access at the moment, or is that out for?
It is.
Right, cool.
It is. Yeah, that's an early access out on the Epic Store, and I have been playing that one as well.
Cool.
I've probably hit the 50-hour mark, so
Amazing.
I've just gotten out of the tutorial phase.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. Prepare to get engrossed with roguelikes, guys. They're going to hook you in if they've got that. Well, that's the thing. They are that hook. That's the main thing about them, isn't it? That if they nail the hook, that's with, that's why Vampire Survivors is basically, it is a hook that goes over and over and over again. It's quite, I mean, I think it's an amazing game, but it's quite surprising to me almost that it has been so successful. Going back to Vampire Survivors quickly, it's just because there's no gameplay other than just avoiding, really, is there? And obviously tactical planning, I suppose you could say, and builds and stuff like that. Rather than that, the actual, there's no like timing, like of blocking and then parrying and then attacking and all that sort of thing, and using different weapons, say like Hades or whatever. It's all in the build. But yeah, so that's quite surprising that it has been that successful to me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but yes.
I think that it shocked many people, probably including the dev, that it did that well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's neat to see. It's perplexing, because look, we've all played indie games that we enjoy the hell out of, and you look at the number of reviews and you go, this has 20 reviews. How could this be? Why have more people not come to this game? And I think it's just so hard for these games to find a platform because of what we said at the top. There's a constant deluge of games coming out. It's hard to stand out.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so that is pretty damn awesome, and that's a great pick as well. Darkest Dungeon, that's, like you say, just come to Game Pass, guys. So if you're curious about this one, I think that's a pretty good thumbs up from GoatForce there. It's quite, dark and gothic, I suppose you could say, isn't it? But if you like that sort of thing, I think it's probably going to be a beauty. I'm guessing it's highly celebrated, isn't it, this game?
It is, yeah, it is. And it's a difficult game. You're going to lose a lot. Your people are going to die on you. You're going to lose party members and progress. And, after a time, you'll realize that that's just how the game operates. That's just part of it. And you will figure out a way how to crush that game back. And when you do, it feels great. Yeah,
nice. And that could be said for a lot of roguelikes as well. There may be some people out there watching this who, potentially have tried roguelikes and put them down quite quickly because they feel like when you start out, you're not as powerful as you will be down the line, of course. So right. I know some people out there have said, I won't name any names or anything like that, but I know people sometimes get put off by roguelikes. And, stick with it, guys, because the more you play, the more you're going to become stronger. And, they feel very empowering, and it feels awesome once you build up those stats and stuff. In general, I'm just speaking here. I know you don't need to preach to the choir very often on your channel because it's all about the roguelikes over there, I'm guessing. But, sometimes people, it's maybe quite a... with roguelikes as a genre, sometimes people are a little bit put off by them to get into them, but once they do, and hopefully games like Hades and Vampire Survivors are really opening up the genre to a lot of people who don't usually. So that's great.
You know what? I struggle with them too. I mean, you make a good point. So I will tell you that with Noida specifically, I turned that game into a roguelite by using mods. And so every 7 attempts, we had a daily series going a couple of years back. Every 7 attempts, I added to my life total.
Right.
When we started. And I created my own skill tree by doing that. And quite honestly, it added to the experience for me.
Right.
So there are ways to jam a roguelite experience into a more punishing roguelike.
Yep. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, good stuff. Fantastic. Well, that's a great start. I mean, we can come back round for a few more from you, my friend. I know you're full of awesome recommendations, but I think we should move over to Luke for a little fresh set of games, maybe. And we can always loop back around and if you want to fire any more my way. But Luke, brother, I know you're a fan of this genre. Have you got some juicy roguelike goodness for us today, my friend?
Of course. Well, of course, yeah. I think all great picks by Goat Force, all really great picks. The only one I've not played a lot of, although I have tried, is Noita, actually. So I really need.
There goes a bit of deflection for me. I get onto Luke now instead.
I do need to pick that up and actually play, because I've heard for ages such good things about it, and I just haven't actually picked it up. So I'm going to go for just a couple, which are kind of, well, one of them, as I apologize to you for, indie, is not an indie game, but
outrage.
It's coming soon to our favorite platform, and I think it has to be mentioned. But I won't start with that one. I'll start with one that is not a full roguelike, but it's got heavy roguelike elements, and that's Inscription.
Lovely.
Which is just an incredible incredible creative strange experience of a game, because it is effectively, and we've seen this kind of subgenre of roguelikes effectively, where they have some deck building elements. They're a card game. So stuff like Slay the Spire is probably the most, kind of pertinent example here. But this one is, I'm not a fan of deck builders at all generally, but I'd heard such amazing things about this game, and I tried out the demo because there is a demo on Steam.
Oh, it's still there, is it?
And it should still be there. Yeah,
oh, really?
It should still be there.
Actually, I've got the game. I just realised I didn't. I won the game actually in a giveaway from Cloud.
Oh, nice.
From Gaming Beyond the Box. So thank you very much to them. Shout out to them guys. Sorry, carry on.
No. Yeah, now go and play it.
Yes, I need to.
So I'd heard great things. I played the demo, and I just immediately fell in love with this because. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of card games, but this is a card game, roguelike deck builder, and the fundamental card game itself is really intuitive. It's not particularly difficult. It's very easy to pick up, and that's awesome. And you can die, as in you can lose in the card game, and then you start off and you've got to build your deck again, and you can get some things that are permanent to help you in your next run, all the hallmarks of a roguelike. But one of the amazing things about this game is the direction it goes, right? Like it goes places that you just do not expect at all. It is such a surprising game, and you'll play it, and it's got this incredible atmosphere, this great art style. It feels creepy, and if anybody's the developer's Daniel Mullins, it's published by Devolver, and Daniel Mullins has done stuff like Pony Island. If anybody's played that, like these really weird, trippy experiences with these kind of creepy, subversive underlying stories that you don't really expect. An Inscription, without giving too much away, is very much like that, and it mixes this deck building roguelike with FMV sequences that you don't expect, and all of these other things. So I don't want to ruin it, other than to say that I think if you want something that is has roguelike elements but is something way different to anything else you're going to find, it's not a Hades or a Dead Space or things that are amazing experiences but kind of similar in their base in terms of how they play. Go and play that because it's incredible. It's nice. I loved it. It was if I'd have played it in the year that it came out, which was 2021, it probably would have been my game of the year for that year.
Nice.
So
very, very high words there. Nice, good stuff. There seems like there's some weirdness going on. I think it might be a similar thing. I don't know at all what it is, but there's a bit of like an FMV thing going on. I'm curious to see how that integrates into the game. I don't know what that is. That quite a big part of the game, or is that? It is. Yeah.
It's a big part of the game without giving too much away. It's a big part. There is effectively you are playing, you're playing Inscription, and there is a kind of meta outside of that.
Okay, lovely. Sounds good.
So it is, I don't want to give. It's a bit like Immortality.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I nearly said that.
Away.
It's got basically like a multi-layered experience like Immortality.
Yes.
In a way,
and it does things like Immortality that genuinely surprise and delight you. Because you're like that's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I would really recommend it.
Cool.
Wonderful game.
Good stuff. Fantastic. That's a great pick, buddy. Yeah. So, and don't feel bad about your other pick. I think everybody pretty much knows what you're going to say, and I'm with you on board with it. So,
I know you're looking forward to this.
Exactly. We'll let it slide for it. I know they did used to be an indie studio, so we'll let that be some way of making it shoehorned in. But they're like honorary indie. Okay, exactly. Sounds good.
And this is very much like I think we might have spoken about this when we saw it originally. I think even you might have said like this looks like an indie project, but just with a massive budget. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, and that's Returnal, which is coming out. I think in like under 2 weeks on PC.
15th of Feb, is it?
15th.
I think so. Yeah,
of Feb.
I think it is. Yeah. I've got my eye on it.
Developed by Housemarque, who have made a bunch of incredible indie games in the past, like Nex Machina.
Yeah, amazing.
They've made Matterfall, Resogun, like just an amazing list of arcade-style shooters, basically.
Definitely. I'm very excited for this.
Oh man, yeah, it's one of those games. Again, I find myself thinking about this as well from time to time, and it's one of those games I wish I could just kind of, Men in Black my memory of it and get rid of it so I could play it again.
Yeah. Are you going to pick it up again for PC? I'm guessing
100%.
Yeah,
100%. It is such an incredible experience. It's a difficult game. Many roguelikes in a sense are, because the difficulty kind of drives progression in some respects. This one, I think when it came out, I spoke to a lot of people, friends and other people, that they had more trouble with this one than others, and they found it more difficult. I personally didn't find, I found it difficult, but not insurmountably so.
Okay,
and
cool.
I completed it in about 19 hours.
Okay.
But
nice work.
Thank you. But they've added stuff now that makes it a lot more accessible because of some feedback they got.
Okay.
But it's oh god, it's an incredible game, and I think the reason people found it difficult was because it asks some skills of you that are in a roguelike genre quite hard.
Yeah,
because it's effectively an arcade shooter, but from a third-person perspective, and it's a bullet hell
it's exactly
at that.
Right.
So it's a bit like playing Enter the Gungeon if it was all 3D.
It's exactly how I always think of this as basically Nex Machina, but 3D version. Like they're
exactly, exactly, yeah. You can absolutely see the Nex Machina.
Exactly, you really can.
It's Nex Machina, but not top down.
Yeah,
basically.
Definitely.
So it's very difficult, but it was. It's less difficult now, but it's so satisfying to play. The Housemarque's arcade kind of mechanics are so good. The way they do things like dodge and just the act of firing is so tight. Everything is so tight in their games in terms of game feel.
Amazing.
This one has all of that, all that you'd expect, wrapped in a really mysterious, incredible world that's all procedurally generated. There are different biomes, but every time you do a run, like many of the roguelikes, everything is procedural in the game. So no run will ever be the same as the other run. There's meaningful progression. There's less progression than other roguelikes, because I think the progression in Returnal is really about game knowledge and feel and skill. It kind of drills that into you to just get better. It's a bit like a sort of a Dark Souls-y type thing where the thing that the game is trying to teach you is to be better at it,
exactly,
to get better and understand how it works.
Like Sifu as well, maybe, is it? Or
yeah, exactly like Sifu. Like you get some stuff run to run for Sifu, but actually what you get run to run with Sifu, by the way, another great roguelike, now that you mention it, is you're getting moves, but they don't help so much as like your understanding of timings and stuff help in Sifu, right? Like it's about being like a kung fu master, basically.
Yeah, it literally is.
Kind of getting the accumulated experience and feel of that and then applying it. So Returnal's a lot like that, except instead of kung fu, you've got, cool guns, basically. So, but I think the thing that tips this game over is its story.
Right.
Because I was blown away by its story.
Awesome.
Like heavily impressed by it. It's a really, it's difficult to describe, but it's this, and again, I don't want to spoil anything because its story subverts your expectations in a way that you really have to experience.
Right.
But you kind of I reached the end of that game and I was really kind of blown away by the direction it went and how people interpreted it. Is what I'll say.
Okay,
like
cool.
Immortality in a way.
Yeah, okay,
again,
nice. I like that.
Keep mentioning
game,
but
it's become the benchmark for every discussion now.
for great story.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, it's such a fantastic game. And I think hopefully the PC port is really good. I expect it to be. Housemarque have always done really great PC ports of things. Nex Machina ran like a dream. This is obviously more demanding than that. But it's incredible, and it was my game of the year. I think it released, funnily enough, in 2021, so it wouldn't have been. It would have just been picked by Inscription that year. but it would have been super close between these two, like
nice.
Super close.
Yep. Amazing. No, fantastic. I can hear your passion for it. It's great. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, as I don't have PlayStation, so coming to PC. I mean, we've been wanting that PC announcement for a long time. We've been talking about it coming up. Yeah, so now it's here, and obviously the release date's around the corner. Very excited. I'm definitely going to pick this one up day one. No questions about that. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how I fare. I might fail, fall flat on my face, but I'm sure I'll have a good time doing it. It does look quite interesting with regards to the story side of it. She's like self-aware of being in a loop, isn't she? As I've gleaned from the trailer.
She is.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Celine is, and Celine's a great character as well.
Yeah.
Again, for a lot of different reasons, but which you'll find out when you play it. But
yeah,
she's a really interesting character.
Yeah.
Like really interesting. In fact, the only thing I will say, and I don't think it spoils it, but the way that it tells its story and the feel that I got from this game in terms of story will be like, maybe the comparison won't make sense to people until you've played it, but it reminded me heavily of something like Silent Hill 2. Now take of that what you will, but if you think about the themes and the way that Silent Hill 2 tells its story and the way it kind of engages the player and makes you think about the things that you're doing and why you're doing them and all of that kind of stuff, that's how this game tells its story and wants to make you feel. It kind of has that deeply unsettling feeling when you're playing it, like something's not quite right, you know.
Okay, yeah, like that. Yeah,
it doesn't look like that on the surface. Bit like Immortality, where you're like, I don't feel like, something feels off, in a good way, mysterious.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's something like the Matrix kind of thing. You're inside of a machine or something.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying anything. No.
Okay,
I'm not saying anything.
We'll see. Find out.
No.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You will find out.
Love it. It's better than that, I'm sure.
It is. Yeah. It's an awesome story. It goes in really cool places, I thought, and it has it will leave you wanting to know more and to kind of understand a lot of things. It doesn't hold your hand in its storytelling either, which I really appreciate. So yeah, and it's just brilliant. It's just fantastic. Also, just a quick shout out for the boss fights in this game, which are amazing, really amazing.
Awesome. That sounds good. I mean, that's what I'm all about. I think the gameplay and everything, I hope the story is amazing as well. And that's it sounds like it's going to add so much to it as well. But the gameplay to me looks so fun and just, intense. And I love that.
I think the great thing about it is, even if the game didn't have a good story, it would still be an incredible game because the gameplay is so good. It's so tight, so fun.
Exactly.
But the story is the thing that just takes it from like, this is a really good game to, this might be one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so just quickly, go for it. So you're going to be checking this out. Obviously, I think obviously in your realm, isn't it? Are you going to check it out on the channel? Are you going to play it at all? You got any plans?
I'll get to it eventually for sure. But I'm due for a PC upgrade before I go and jump into Returnal. I don't have the specs that it would take to run it in all its glory today. And
I don't either.
When I get to it, I want to be able to have the full experience. So I'm gonna need a PC upgrade before we do that. But it's definitely something I'm gonna play.
Yeah, I think I'll pick it up, and I am going to upgrade my graphics card at some point. But I just want to, I've just put into the chat there. I've seen it at 35 on CD keys. Hopefully, everyone won't buy it now, and I won't miss out because of that, because I haven't bought it yet. I think that's a pre-order price, which is pretty damn amazing. So grab it while you can, guys. Shout out to Dem Guts in the chat there. Thank you for being here, my friend. And CD keys are fantastic. I do like to search out the bargains. Humble Bundle, CD keys. The best place to go is gg.deals for PC games, and it'll give you the full rundown of all the best prices on all of the shop fronts, basically. So that's a good way of looking at the overview. But yeah, so definitely really excited for this. I love Luke's passion for it. it. Great takes on that, my friend. Yeah, I'm going to be jumping in for sure to Returnal, and yeah, even if it doesn't mean I can run it at full pelt and all that, I'm definitely not going to be able to do that, but I think I can get it to run pretty decent enough for me to be able to enjoy it. My PC doesn't do too bad considering. I know there's many people lurking around here with 4090s and stuff, but making me look terrible. But you know, I still get fairly decent results out of mine, considering what it is, if you see what I mean. But yeah, so let's see. I'm going to do a couple of takes now. Maybe I'm going to tackle of my picks, and then we'll go back to GoFoss if you got any more, and anyone else who wants to add any more into the mix. And definitely in the chat, guys, let us know what your favourite roguelike games are. Have you played many roguelikes in general, guys, in the chat? And yeah, like I say, let us know some of your favourites that you've played. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll definitely bring up your comments, etc., and make it a point of discussion. Yes, what was I going to say? I was going to bring one of mine. Let's go for... okay, I'm going to do one here, which I haven't quite finished yet, but I did bring it up a second ago. And I think it's one that Luke would highly agree with. And that is Sifu. So, yeah, Sifu, amazing game. I do need to get back to it to finish off this awesome game. But, yeah, again, this is quite an intense game. It teaches you to become better at the game, essentially, just through hard graft, I suppose you could say. I'm a big martial arts fan in general. So this game really does pay, a great tribute to martial arts in general. I think it's Pak-Mei, the actual the kung fu style that is used in this mostly, and it's done so well. The motion capture, the fighting is so fluid and beautiful. It's definitely an amazing feel to it when you play. It just flows so nicely, plays brilliantly. And I just love it in general, this game, and I need to get back to it to finish it off. But yeah, it doesn't hold your hand in any way at all. So yeah, if that can be quite jarring at first, but again, like sticking with it, learning those combos and stuff, and just I did feel the progression starting to kick in, and then something I overtook when I last was playing through, but I think I'm about halfway through it. Need to get back to it, as I say, and stick with it until I'm done, basically, because I think Luke did the similar thing. You got much further than me. I think you were on the final boss, and then you popped away for another game, didn't you? And then you're gonna have to start again, effectively, to learn kung fu again.
I'm scared of going back to that game to try and do that final boss.
Exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. The final boss in particular literally goes, okay, so you think you're good at Sifu.
Yeah,
I'm going to test every notion that you have that you're good at Sifu.
Exactly,
I will do. It's like an accumulation of everything that you've learned up till that point. It's difficult, so I am really scared about going back to it, because I'm gonna have to rerun at least the last level.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it just lots of games in general, even when you go back to them, they can be like, oh, I need to learn this again a little bit and get my grasp and my bearings. But this game is just the complete, maximum level of that.
Well, yeah, because usually you're like, okay, I haven't played this game in a while. The thing that I need to relearn is the muscle memory, just in terms of basic controls. Like, I need to remember the controls. Like, if you've been away for a few months, for example, usually that's quite easy. Sifu is like, okay, you've got to relearn the controls. You've got to relearn all the combos that you've learned so far. You have to relearn your timing, your parry, like literally everything. Like, it's not just okay, well, I know exactly how to hit and block, so I'll get on with it now. It's like, no, you've got to relearn all the muscle memory that you've completely forgotten, basically.
In terms of the level of difficulty of this game, because I have not gotten to it yet, I was too scared.
Yeah.
Would you put this in line with Sekiro, a game that beat me into the ground over and over and over again, that I had to step away from? Would you put it in line with that in terms of the timing? You talked about the parries.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Is that a yes from you, Luke?
I think it's...
I'll say mine. You go first, and then I'll answer what I think.
Yeah. I don't think it's as... because I am right there with you on Sekiro. I could not finish Sekiro. That demanded way too much of... And I love Souls games, and I've completed all of them, except for Sekiro.
It's tough.
that asked so much of you in terms of parry that it was too, like, for me, that was too demanding. I got about halfway through Sekiro and I was like, I just can't do any more of this.
Right.
This doesn't ask as much of you as Sekiro. I don't think. I don't know what you think, Indy.
I agree. Even though I was going to say I haven't got as far as you, but I definitely feel like this is not as hard as that game for sure. Just there's an easy way of answering it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is because in Sekiro, the game, like, it is so focused on parry that there is no alternative. Either you learn parry and how to do it all the time, or you don't learn how to progress. In Sifu, there are like moves and stuff that enemies can do, especially bosses, that you can only parry to. Like, nothing else will work, but you can get good at other things like dodging, for example, or blocking or countering, that will mean that you can progress, and that you can, even if you're not the best at parry, you can get good enough at it, you know, to a decent extent that you can progress in the game. I think Sekiro was just like, I know people love that game, and I really enjoyed what I played, but I think it's kind of parry to the detriment of everything else about how you get good at it, you know. So I don't think it's as difficult as Sekiro, albeit it is a difficult game.
That's really helpful. I think with Indy's commitment to go another 100 hours with Noida, I will say here today, I'm gonna try Sifu.
I really recommend it. I don't know about my part of it, but yeah, I really recommend you play this game. Honestly, this one's an absolute beauty. It's intense, and I love the way it feels, you know. Like I say, you do like the combat as well. Like, the flow of it, it's kind of nails that so much that, you know, I don't know. I love where you can just roll over the tables and stuff. You know what I mean? Where you do that sort of like roll over and you can get around the other side. It just flows smooth and fluid. And some of the scenarios and set pieces, it feels like a proper like martial arts movie. And I love that. And it really feels like you're becoming something greater. You're becoming this grandmaster of martial arts, and it's awesome. Definitely check it out, guys. It's coming to Switch. Actually, it's coming to Switch, isn't it? Also already, maybe. I think it's already come to Switch.
It might have already gone there, actually.
Yeah, I think it has now recently. I think it's coming to Steam as well, though. Is it come to Steam now as well? Maybe.
I think it might. Maybe it's already there. Because it was only GF initially, wasn't it?
It says coming soon.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Yeah, so it is coming to Steam, but yeah, it's on Epic. I've got it on Epic at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, which is cool. I'd rather it on Steam, but I'm not going to get over the top about that. It's worth playing, obviously, and you can get a good deal on it on Epic as well because it's been on there for a bit longer. So cool. Highly recommend checking it out. So yeah, Sifu, that's one of my picks there. Let's see. I mean, you've already said Hades, but that would obviously be one of my picks. I'm sure Luke's as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a consensus pick of everybody loves Hades. You know, it's one of the greatest games in general, I think, ever made, really. Just as simple as that. And like, it just nails everything so well. Story, you know, combat, everything. The art style is just spot on. Literally everything firing on all cylinders. Amazing job. Music obviously as well has to be mentioned from the in-house is it Darren Korb, the music guy from Supergiant? Yeah, he's amazing. So yeah, he always works on all of the Supergiant games, and amazing work on Hades for sure. But yeah, Hades obviously everyone has already played. Fantastic game, and yeah, a great game to check out for if you're looking to get into roguelikes as maybe your first one, because it's quite accessible in a lot of ways. I mean, you can play it with, there are actual accessibility options on it where you can use, and also just in general the game, even without any of those, it's quite an accessible game in general anyway, because when you're dying there's always story evolving and everything like that, so you feel like you're moving forward in a good sense in that game. So yeah, definitely a great game. Check it out, guys, if you haven't already, but I'm sure you already have. Let's see, let's go back to Goat Force for a couple of gems, because I know he's got loads lined up and I want to hear some more of his juicy picks. You got some more for us, my friend?
Hey, I got those hot picks.
Hot picks.
For you. Yeah. Hey, speaking of the hotness, in Hades, there's a newer game out. Well, it's going to be in like closed beta format. I think that's what they're doing right now. It's a game called Flamekeeper, and it plays very similarly to Hades, but you play as a burning piece of coal. And
Amazing.
it has this interesting mechanic where you're trading your health power, which is, the source of your flame, to open up various gates that are in the level. And so I thought that game was very interesting. It's got, your typical hub world where you're bringing back resources, you're boosting power over time. You're also building a village along the way. And as you build that village, you're opening up new ways to boost your stats and your capabilities.
That's what we've got on screen now. Apologies for the delay on that. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's got a similar sort of look, almost sort of the isometric feel. Yeah, if you see what I mean. Looks cool.
Yeah. So that one was really neat. Yeah, there it is. I see it now.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. I had a good time playing it.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's got these squirrels that run around and steal the resources that you're after, and you can beat the hell out of the squirrels, and that felt good too. So
always good.
Yeah,
yeah, nice.
Yeah. Had a good time with that, and I definitely want to keep track of that one. One of the other games I'm playing right now, and this one really set the hook and made me nostalgic for the Nintendo 64. A game called Whisker Squadron Survival. And this is a combination of Star Fox and the Vampire Survivors genre, let's call it. So you've got the flight combat of Star Fox combined with the roguelite survival genre, and you're going through these zones and leveling up and taking on new capabilities over time. And it just feels really, really good to get in there. The flight feels good. It's responsive. It plays smoothly. They've got a really great musical soundtrack.
Looks smooth.
And yep. And you can do a barrel roll.
Nice.
They've got barrel rolls.
It looks cool. It's got a cool art style. It's nice and very slick and smooth, actually.
It's really cool. So they've got 2 games that they're working on. They have one that's more of a story-driven game, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
Oh,
and then they've got a separate game called Whisker Squadron Survival, where, it's kind of that pivot that we were talking about, where they're utilizing the assets that they're working on for this game to create a survivor type game. So it's very interesting. I will probably play both games because this looks really nice as well, what we're seeing here. But the game, there's 10 zones in the survival version, and you're bringing back resources and boosting different stats and jumping back in, and it's very, very addictive.
Nice. And if I did see correctly, I think they've got a demo out. Is that right?
Yeah. There is a demo, and just be warned, I have put 30 hours into the demo, so you've been warned.
Amazing.
You've been warned.
And obviously, all of these games, pretty much, I think we could say pretty much all the stuff you're talking about, you cover on your channel, don't you? So you've probably got a video for nearly all of these, I would say. Would that be fair to say?
All of these games and more are on the channel.
On the Rogue variety, that is. So the ones that Goat Force is bringing up, he usually gets coverage of them, and and checks them out, basically. So check that out if you want some more in-depth on these games like this one.
Yeah.
So
the other game, one more. Got one more for you. Tiny Rogues.
Nice.
Tiny Rogues is a game that everyone with a PC should experience just once. It is a dungeon crawler / bullet hell game. This is one of the most dedicated devs. I've played the game prior to it even launching into early access. I was one of a handful of people that got to show it off. And this game is going to make you feel like you're playing something on the NES in the best way. It's just got such a great look. It plays well, and it is also a roguelite. So you're going to have your stat progression. This dev is amazing. Reached out to me and actually put in a power-up called Goat Force.
Amazing.
So the channel is featured in the game. It is a wonderful game. I'll be giving away a copy of Tiny Rogues next week on the channel. So it's tremendous. I can't say enough nice stuff about it. And the roadmap that this dev has in mind, it's amazing. I mean, it's already a great game, and he's going to be adding all kinds of additional stuff. So I can't say enough nice stuff about it.
Nice. Oh, fantastic stuff. It looks really cool, actually, and that is amazing that you got in the game. What a legend of a dev to do that. How cool
I'm still
that?
blown away. Never in a million years would I have thought that that could be possible.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's what you get for being an awesome channel, my friend.
I'll tell you what. Fantastic.
Yeah. Good stuff. And shout out to Meisuko, who very kindly gifted me this game, and I'm so sorry that I haven't got to it again. It's the Noita story once more. I did get to Noita in the end though, didn't I? You guys are too kind to me, and I haven't got enough time in the day. But I will definitely get to it, Meisuko. Thank you so much again for sorting me out with that. It's very kind of you. It does look fantastic, and yes, once again, it's too many games, too little time, isn't it? But yeah, great stuff.
It absolutely is. Always.
Any others that you wanted to highlight, my friend, or are you good?
I think I'm good. I have 17 other games I could talk about, but those are the ones that really come to mind.
Yep.
That people should get to. It looks like Dem Guts just picked up the demo for Whisker Squadron.
Nice.
I've had just a ball with that game. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are my bangers for you.
Fantastic. Some great bangers. Love it. So Luke, did you have any more that you wanted to mention at all, my friend?
Oh, there's been so many good ones already.
So many good ones.
I'll do one more, which is a classic that everybody knows, but it's worth noting, and I'll only spend like a minute on it. But it's Dead Cells.
I knew it. I knew I was going to say it.
Wonderful.
It's a good
wonderful
choice.
Game. It's just an incredible game. It's like I'm sure people have played it, but if you haven't, it's a 2D roguelike with kind of a pixel art style, I suppose. But what I really love about that game is it's super satisfying to play. It has this great progression loop, and also this is a game that's been supported for years now. There is so much DLC for this game. It's not expensive to buy. It's not expensive to buy the full pack with all the DLC, which gets you tons more content. And it's got new DLC coming up, which is actually a tie-in with Castlevania, which is one of the most perfect tie-ins that I think has ever been kind of envisaged. Yes, really, it's perfect. It basically is a Castlevania game in many ways.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't recommend it enough. I still play it now and then. I have it on the Switch of all things, and I'll still pick it up and just have a run. You know, because it's amazing.
We should get a Steam Deck.
It's an amazing game. I know. I'm always adverse to buying games another time unless it's Returnal. I'll make an exception.
Fair enough. Yeah, I bought Dead Cells actually again on the PC, and I had it on the Xbox before. But I know what you mean. Sometimes it's a bit like. It depends. Like, for me, I feel like I found my home now with PC, so I feel like I kind of want to have them there, if you know what I mean. Especially when you've got a PC of the desktop variety and it on the go, so you're covering both bases by having it through Steam and stuff. But I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's look. I mean, it's an incredible game, and if you haven't played it, go and get it. It's not expensive, and it's on everything, and it's amazing.
Absolutely. Yep. Some great progression in this game as well. You know, you can really just through time again keep playing through it. You know, you might find it hard at first, but then you'll build up, and you can really build up their stats and become a lot stronger in the game. So it's just top notch. You don't really need to. You know, one thing is actually I was going to say is this list without Dead Cells on it would be an incomplete list, wouldn't it?
Travesty.
So it's good that you mentioned. I did have it ready to go. I was ready to slip it in there in case you didn't. But fantastic game. Dead Cells. It's just always great to pick up and just have a blast with. And if you've played Hades and it was your first, then this could be a good second game to play after that, if you see what I mean. A lot of people will contest as well whether Hades is better or whether Dead Cells is better. So that comes up a few times. Actually, out of curiosity, on this campus, where are you swaying towards, Hades or Dead Cells better?
I actually think Dead Cells is the better playing game.
Better playing game. As a whole, though,
I think. As a whole, I think Hades is better.
Yeah,
but that's motivated by story.
Yes,
which,
exactly.
You know, is a driver for Hades. Not that Hades isn't a good playing game, by the way. Because it is incredibly good. But there's like I don't know how to describe it with Dead Cells. It's like a chunk to everything, like it's really meaty,
like impact to it,
like the impact is very visceral. I really enjoy that. People might prefer how Hades plays. I just think Dead Cells is a slightly better playing game.
I think that's a lot of the people who agree with that. Is gameplay is its best attribute, I suppose you could say. The art is really lovely as well, Dead Cells, but the gameplay in Dead Cells is very, very strong. But what do you think, GoForce, about that?
You know, it's a good question. I would probably also side with Hades for the incredible storytelling elements and how they just slowly drip that on you in different ways as you progress through the campaign. I need to go back and play Dead Cells because I played it in early access, and I got to a point where I beat whatever was the current end boss. I think it was the Assassin, I think was the name. And I thought, oh yes, I finally got it. And I went to the next screen, and it was a pixelated sign that said under construction. And I was my soul had been ripped out, and I didn't go back to it. But when the Castlevania DLC rolls out, I think I want to go back to it and start playing it again on the channel because it's a special game, and I would like to see that all the way through.
Yep, no, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I agree with you as well. Dead Cells is an incredibly epic game. I think Hades does take the crown, I think, just because it's more rounded, and as a whole it's got every element kicking, basically, if you know what I mean. There's not much story to speak of in Dead Cells, but the gameplay definitely is amazing, and the progression is really good in it as well. But so that is awesome. So I mean, there's obviously a ton more we could mention, and we've got some great ones being mentioned in the chat from Dem Guts saying about Scourgebringer. I played that game, so really cool roguelike as well. Good shout. And Slay the Spire being mentioned as well by our good man Meisuko. Any of you guys like Slay the Spire? Did you enjoy it? You play much Slay the Spire, any of you guys?
It's a favorite It's a favorite of mine, and I was the one. I'll take responsibility. I got my Suko addicted to that one. My mom plays it on the iPad, and she probably does 2 or 3 runs a day. She's been playing for, I don't know, around a year.
Amazing.
Still has not finished it, and it's just it's a wonderful game. It's easy to pick up.
Yep.
It's easy to just jump right in and get a run in, and it's fun to build up your character with these, different weird combinations that you can put together. It's just a tremendous game.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, awesome. It's kind of one of the flagships again, I think, isn't it, with the roguelikes, especially for this type of roguelike deck builder style. It's again spawned many. It's a fantastic game. So yeah, we so many we could mention really in this genre. There is an amazing amount of games, but I'm just going to mention my final one, and if you wanted to say any more, guys, feel free to say them, but otherwise we can move on to the best upcoming indie games. Final one I'm just going to mention is the one I mentioned earlier on, which is Trinity Fusion. As I was saying to you, I had the interview with a developer you may have seen on the channel when I was at EGX. So this game is currently in beta. I think you might be able to still get in on that if you go to their website, Trinity Fusion. But yeah, this game actually is an awesome game. It feels really good to play. It feels really weighty. The developers are so passionate. It's amazing. They are so open to, basically feedback and critique. They want all of the negative criticism and everything. Basically, they're building a game to be the best it can be, and I love that. And that's often the case with these roguelikes, is they do that sort of early access sort of setup and betas and all sorts to really get a community sort of driven game basically. So yeah, but anyway, this game's got 3 different protagonists with different weapons. There's so many different options that have come up already in the 5 runs I did last night, and there's loads of options for different tactical approaches. Each character has different abilities, and the different weapons that just come up from the same character. There's so much variety within that, and it definitely feels fantastic to play. It's solid already. I feel like you could release the actual version that's playing. It feels that tight, but yeah, I just highly recommend checking this one out, Goat Force, especially for yourself, and giving this one a bit of the old Goat Force treatment on your channel.
I need to. I think you'll like this one. I wasn't as familiar with this one, and when you started talking about it, I threw it on the wish list. I'm definitely going to try this.
Yeah, awesome. I think you'd like it. It's got inspirations from quite a few different Metroid and stuff like that, and other things, and obviously the 2D aspect's really cool. There's some interesting weaponry at play, like I say, loads of variety, and it feels just really good to play as well. And it seems like they're really putting a lot of love into it essentially, and that is always so important. But yeah, Trinity Fusion is a really cool game. Like I say, I played it at EGX, but for some reason playing it more recently on the home PC, it's hit even better than it did when I was there. Maybe they've tweaked it quite a bit since last October, but it just felt really good last night. And I'm looking forward to it. And
this is going to hit console as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
This is the guys, I forgot the game they made now. They made Brawl Out. Do you know that game?
That sounds familiar.
It's like a combat, like a sort of like a battle fighting game, a bit like what's that Nintendo fighting game? My God, my brain's gone today. The big one.
Street Fighter.
No, the one with all the characters. Thank you, Smash
Bros.
Oh,
yeah.
A bit like that sort of style game. Yeah, so they've got the combat really nailed down, I think, with the chops from that. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really good game, actually, and definitely should go onto everyone's radar if they like the look of it, because it's, it's fun to play, and like I say, the passion they're putting in is pretty damn cool. So yeah, I look forward to a Goat Force rundown on it.
that looks neat. And you said that it's got some Metroidvania type elements, huh?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, so you can explore the world in different ways. There's bosses in there, of course. It's quite challenging actually as well, which is always fun. But yeah, you level up quite nicely, and there's lots of different, the usual rogue stuff where you get to choose different weaponry, different perks, and it all seems to be done really nicely, and you can, you know, like build up and feel like you're becoming stronger in the game, and just in general just feels really nice, even at this stage that they're not releasing yet. I don't know if they're going to do an early access. This is like a beta, they're saying, so I think they're going to do maybe an early access and then the release or something. I think that's what they were saying when I was doing the interview with them. I think they said they're going to go into early access, but they've come with a beta first. Maybe this is sort of like they did a closed beta, and then it was actually, this is still a closed beta, I think. But yeah, hit up the developers, they'll sort you out, I'm sure. If not, I can always sort you out with the info as well to get hold of them. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a good one to check out, and yeah, it just feels good. And I haven't actually unlocked the other characters yet, but they have different abilities. Like one's got a gun, and you know, one's like close quarters combat and stuff.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
Yeah, so they're all different versions of the same person, essentially.
Right.
It's kind of, that's the Trinity aspect. And I'm trying to sort of uncover the story. You go back to this place called the Citadel, where it's all sort of taking place. It's almost this person sitting there, like you know, like in the Matrix, where they're on that rig, where you're rigged up to the Matrix, in connected to the machine. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that. You go back to that, the Citadel, where it's like the hub world, and and then it sort of all connects from there. And the story seems to be quite interesting, the way it's playing out as well, with the different options. But yeah, the boss, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty challenging. So I'm going to be...
it looks like it.
Yeah, the one I've been taking on, I still haven't beaten yet, which is shameful, but a couple of guys I've had on it. And yeah, I think it's all about learning those different, you know, patterns and stuff, as always. But I like the challenge in this style of game. It makes it rewarding, doesn't it, when you beat them?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And you're on progression that's permanent across runs. Okay.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely. So so far I've upgraded like health, and you know, you can upgrade your chance to get a critical hit and all that sort of stuff, you know, the usual stuff.
Wow, I'm sold.
Yeah, I think you'll really dig it, actually. It's really cool.
I'm in.
There's a lot of intricacy to the upgrades and the different things you pick up along the way. There's permanent upgrades, there's upgrades for the run when you're on. You can take different weapons for close quarters and different long range weapons. Yeah, anyway, it's awesome. Check it out.
I'm in.
Good stuff. Fantastic. So yeah, anything else that you guys want to mention then before we move on to the final topic of the day? Any other games you want to shout out?
Not for me.
Nope.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. Okay, fantastic stuff, guys. So let's move on then to the final topic, I say, which is our best upcoming indie games of 2023. So yes, obviously many awesome games coming this year, and yeah, it's time for us to pull together a few of our favorites. It's probably going to be hard to get every single one on there because there is that many awesome games coming this year. I would love to hear you guys in the comments letting us know your favorites that you're looking forward to this year. There's some obvious big hitters in the indie game world coming out this year, we hope anyway, and you know what I'm referring to. But yeah, there's a lot of games in general on the way, so definitely let us know in the chat. We'd love to read out your comments and get you involved, basically. So and if you're watching this after, by the way, guys, definitely feel free to drop it in the after show comments as well. I'd love to read your comments post show as well. But yeah, thank you very much for being here once again. Let's do this. Upcoming indie games of 2023. So let's start with Lukey Baby first, I think, on this one. So my friend, you looking forward to 2023? What you got on the agenda? What are you looking forward to?
Oh well, I'm looking forward to all the great games that are, hopefully gonna come out.
Sounds good.
And be great. Yeah. And amongst that is as you said, there's many indies this year that you could pick, I think. Yeah. So I've tried to be a bit more colourful with some of mine. Obviously, there are ones we know about that are like potentially some of the biggest indie games of all time that are going to come out this year. But I've gone with slightly different picks, just to mix it up a bit, because I'm really looking forward to these as well. So we'll start off with one that was revealed, I think, not that long ago now, and that is the Plucky Squire,
nice.
Which is a Devolver published game.
Yep.
And we know how good they are.
Absolutely.
And this one, and I can't remember when this was revealed, as in what event it was.
It was the Devolver Direct where we had on
Joe
and Ains as well. Remember, we did the reaction, didn't we? Do you remember that one?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I remember this just like blew me away when I saw it, because the trailer is done in such a clever way, as I'm sure you'll see. And it's I think the lead, the creative lead on this is actually, and maybe you can see some of this through. He's actually was a Pokemon art director for Nintendo, and oh god, I love that bit in the trailer. I've just seen it pop up there.
So cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just these are the things like with indie games that are so clever and so compelling, which is just like people have this vision about, this amazing creative vision for something, and they just get to do it right, and they're not kind of limited by how well, like they can perform well enough to not have to be a particular genre or a particular direction, or have any kind of preconceived notions about what the game needs to do to be successful. And this is that kind of game where you've got like, I imagine the developers for this just had this one idea that kind of germinated into this game about like a 2D art book action game that suddenly becomes 3D, and then goes back to 2D, and then has this interaction with objects in the world. But I just think it looks incredible. Now, I don't know how the full game will pan out or anything like that, but I think as a concept and what they've achieved in this trailer and the visuals and all that kind of stuff, it just looks amazing. The art is beautiful as well.
Yeah, so creative.
So creative, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of It Takes Two,
right?
Which in the same way kind of took a kind of gameplay conceit and said, that's really cool, we'll do that, and then we'll just introduce something completely different for you, and we'll do that for a bit, and then we'll move on to something else, right? It seems like that hotbed of like gameplay ideas is what it seems like this is. If it's half as good as It Takes Two, it'll be a very good game indeed. I think so. It just looks awesome. It looks awesome. It is scheduled for this year.
I saw that.
No solid release date for it yet, but hopefully we see it.
Yeah, it would be amazing. This just blew our minds when we saw this on that Devolver Direct, didn't it? Like,
it was even like the storybook element that blew me away. I just thought that looked amazing.
It's
like
so
if it was just that, amazing. But when he jumps out of the book,
exactly.
Like I was literally like, what? Like what is going on?
It was just like cue the gif where you're just like it just like
just
blown
like
away.
Slack-jawed.
Exactly. Oh my god, it had that impact. It's a brilliant trailer. And again, we keep talking about Easy Allies, but I do love those guys. And this was their best trailer of the year, I think it was. So it won the award for that. But and I think it really, really deserves that. I totally agree. It's just that impactful wow moment of what the trailer does. It just knocks you back and makes you think this is something special. And I think it's going to be a really interesting game. It's a brilliant choice. Definitely was one of my choices as well. But it's just done so well, like, isn't it? Even like the texture on the book and everything, it just looks really convincing. Like the way
it's like the kind of like the specular highlight on the book,
exactly,
like the way that light hits the pages.
Exactly.
Like that's so cleverly done.
So true.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's saying there's going to be a mix of obviously 2D and 3D gameplay. So potentially there's not so much shown on the 3D side of it. So I wonder if there's going to be like 3D platformer style stuff, do you think? Well, there is a bit there actually, isn't there, when he's doing the combat? So that looks really cool. Both look really interesting. Actually, there is little bits of nuggets there at the end with the 3D side of things. I'm super hyped for this game. It's beautiful looking game, and something a bit different for Devolver as well. It's not your blood and guts everywhere kind of thing. They don't always do that. So they like the creativity. I think that's the main focus, isn't it, of Devolver? But that awesome pick there, buddy. That's fantastic. Anything else you'd like to mention at the moment, Luke, at all? Or?
We'll do another. Why not?
Why not?
I think we'll do again another beautiful game, and hopefully this isn't that far away because I think they said this was early 2023, so it should be soon. I've also noticed they've done quite a few gameplay videos for this recently, and that's Tachia.
Oh, lovely.
Which again is one of those kind of games that is quite captivating when you see it for the first time. And then I suppose the more I learned about this game, the more I was like, oh, this is a really cool, creative, very personal project because it's inspired by where the developers are from, actually, which is New Caledonia, which is a kind of overseas French territory. And, a very beautiful, kind of stunning, tropical-esque island with kind of really diverse wildlife and, locals and all that sort of stuff. And this is just like super, it's an action-adventure game. And you play Tachia, and there is like a kind of an underlying story that involves a father. But the real kind of the hook, I suppose, of this game is that you can kind of possess animals and objects in the world and become that thing for a certain amount of time. So one of the things they've demonstrated a lot is like this is a really big island, right? It's a really big space to explore. So you can, take control of a shark, for example, and explore it. Or they've even shown like you can take control of a coconut and just like roll down a hill or whatever.
Right.
So like all this kind of weird stuff. It kind of reminds me almost of like things like Wind Waker. Like this kind of like tropical place where the mechanics are kind of a bit weird and a bit crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. You can even hop from treetop to treetop as well, which I think is really, really cool. So yeah, I just really like this because it's just something super inspired by, a culture and a place. And I really love games like that have a really strong sense of personality. It's a beautiful looking game. And I just think it'd be a great world to be in, and I'm really looking forward to playing it.
I totally agree with you about that last part as well. I like it when they really, they sort of showcase the culture and, go all in on a vision. It's just, it looks beautiful. Yeah. Love it. Great pick there, my friend. That's a bit of one I wasn't expecting. I like that. It's keeping on my toes there. It's a great pick. I think Meisuko enjoys the look of that for sure.
Yeah, he's got great taste. So.
Yeah.
we know
Meisuko always has great taste, that's for sure. Fantastic. He's saying it's his kind of game. Good stuff. And Dem Guts is saying that definitely Wind Waker vibes. Yeah, definitely see that as well. Adventure. Thank you so much for all your interaction, guys, today. It's been awesome. Loving to see all your great takes in the chat. It means a lot. And there's a few I missed actually. Just before we move over to my man Go Force for some pickaroos, some mentions of Dem Guts picks for best upcoming indie games. Just going to shout out as well, the Indie Journey is back in the house. Thank you so much for being back in, and thank you so much for your kind words on the old review of Season as well. Very kind of you, buddy. And really appreciate your support lately. Thank you so much to Dem Guts as well for hanging out, like I say. So let's read out your comment here. We got Bishunuden. Is that Bishunuden? Yeah, I know the game, but I've never actually read it out in real life, if you know what I mean. I've actually got that game on my wish list as well. Shunden, I think it is. Gestalt, that looks awesome. That Steam and Cinder, I think it's called, isn't it? The Metroidvania. Lunark, I don't know. Replaced. And Mayfumado. So apologies for the pronunciation on a couple of those. I don't actually know Mayfumado, so I'll have to check that out. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Gestalt, that's for sure. Replaced, Bishunadan, absolutely great picks there, my friend. So let's go over to my man Goat Force Gaming for some of his upcoming indie game picks for 2023 that he's looking forward to.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I'm also really excited for the plucky squire.
Nice.
For all the same reasons that were mentioned. I think all the different styles of gameplay that are being presented there, it looks fantastic. And when that character jumps off the page and goes 3D claymation look, I was blown away first time I saw that.
It's a wow moment, isn't it?
It's unique.
Yeah.
It's just unique, and you say, boy, I don't know that I've seen that before. It looks like it's going to be a really special experience. So I'm looking forward to that. And these indie devs, they do different stuff. They push the boundaries. They're out there trying new things, and sometimes it works out for the best. We get something really special. So I think that one's going to be a special game.
Great shout. Well said.
Yeah, the Steam World folks the other day put on a show to talk about their upcoming titles. And, I think the new one, what is it? Steam World Build? Is that what they're calling it?
Yes. That's
yeah.
Right. Not into that.
So I think there's folks out there that are going to really get into Steam World Build. It's not for me. I really like the Steam World world that they've built. I think it's a really neat world that they've put together. And I like hanging out in it, but I'm not big into, hey, let's build a city and let's go underground and let's mine and let's build down there. It's just, as you would say, it's not up my street. But I think that there's folks out there. No, you keep saying it. There's folks out there that are going to really get into it.
Yeah.
Now the gentleman talked about 3 other titles that they're working on. They didn't give us a feel for what those are, but my hope is that one of them is a sequel to SteamWorld Dig.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Because I love those games. Love them.
Me too.
When that game comes out, that's a game that I just sit down and I play from start to finish, pretty much completely focused on that title because they're just so good. Totally captures my attention.
Yeah.
So my hope is that one of those titles is a Dig game.
That would be amazing. I think a lot of the fan base want that as well. So I don't think you're alone with that for sure. I think a lot of people were hoping it was going to come out in that particular showcase, weren't they?
Yeah, right? Yeah, tease us just a little bit. Just give me a taste. I'll come back. Just a taste. Would have been nice. The other one that I'm excited for, I've demoed it a couple of times, is a game called Beyond the Long Night. And this is a roguelite, dungeon crawler, bullet hell, twin stick shooter. And here's what I'll say about this game. I have put this game on and just let it run in the background so that I can listen to the soundtrack to this game. The music is incredible in this game.
Oh, I know. The trailer's got amazing sound, hasn't it? Yeah, I heard the music in the trailer's brilliant.
It's unbelievable. And this dev does the music.
Really amazing.
Yeah, extremely passionate. And I'm telling you, I like the game. I like the way it plays, but the music really is. It just kept me coming back. It's incredible. So I would encourage anybody, even if the game doesn't look super exciting to you, just go and listen to some of the music in this game. It's unbelievable what this person has put together. And the game looks great as well. So I'm very excited for Beyond the Long Night. It's charming. I mean, you're floating around with some balloons. You're blasting some enemies here and there. It's wonderful. Go check it out. There might, I don't know if he's got a demo active or not. Maybe he'll put something out there. I don't see anything out there right now, but I don't know. Maybe he's got something for Next Fest.
Yeah. Next Fest on Monday is going to be so many great demos knocking about. So keep your eye out for some awesome demos on Steam from Monday, guys. Yeah, definitely. So that's cool though. Fantastic pick there, buddy. Anything else you wanted to mention at the moment, Goat Force, buddy?
No, that was the one that really comes to mind, along with the Plucky Squire. It just looks tremendous. Yeah. I'm gonna
take the moment to remind everybody the one that we're all been missing. Okay, I've just because I know we're all looking forward to this bad boy, and I'm gonna step in and just remind you both the gem that you've been missing, and I'm gonna slide it onto the screen, and I'm gonna say, take the floor, guys, because this game is surely all of our in our top 2 or 3 picks for the game we're most looking forward to this year. Surely.
Is it Noida? Are you putting Noida?
I don't know what this
is. That what we're doing?
Many of you are probably thinking Silksong right now, but the top 2 games I'm probably looking forward to this year are probably Silksong. And what's the other one that's on the screen probably by now on your screen? Surely.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So yeah, you two, I imagine Hades 2, cannot wait for this game. Tell me what you're excited about this game, guys.
Well,
more
go ahead, Luke.
It's a follow-up to one of the best games I think that there's been over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Not just roguelikes. I mean, just one of the best games. And I mean, it's Supergiant, so it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I don't even have to worry about the quality.
Exactly, it's almost a no-brainer. That might even be why you didn't say it, because he's just so confident of it just being awesome. Yeah, but yeah, the excitement there is big for me, so I'm really excited for it. And I know obviously this is your realm as well, GoForce. So and massive Hades fan, so I imagine you're very excited for this one. Have you done much speculating or searching for what you think this game's going to do, or are you just chilling, waiting for the moment, and then you're going to tuck into it kind of when it comes out?
Yeah, I think more the later of what you said. I almost don't. I don't want to know too much about it.
Yeah,
I just want to jump in when it comes out and just drink it like the fine wine that it's going to be.
Exactly.
And really for me, they don't really have to do anything different at all. You give me a reskinned Hades. With a new story, and I'm good. That's all we have to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Some. It does seem they got a bit more magic going on in this game, so abilities might have been changed up quite a bit. Maybe one of the main changes potentially. But yeah, obviously you don't need to change perfection that much, but giving it something that make it feel fresh to play is obviously quite important as well, because there's people like yourself and a lot of other people. I mean, I put a lot of hours into this game, the first game, so we've played a lot of it, so you want a little bit of freshness there. So hopefully that's something that they can pop into the game and give it a fresh. Obviously we've got a new person we're going to be playing sister of the original character, so it's gonna hopefully it will just have a freshness to it, but also feel just as good as it always did, if you know what I mean. But very excited for it. You're excited, I'm guessing.
Oh, big time. And she looked, I mean, the art direction is just incredible. She looks awesome. From the looks of it. And I would imagine that they're going to have a brand new weapon set.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. We already know it. It's going to be great.
We know it. We know it for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. I like the the 2 character thing going on here with these new characters where you've almost got like a mentor or something who's training you or something like that. It seems quite interesting.
Yeah.
Bit better than Skelly in the other game. If obviously Skelly's got some character to him, but he's not quite as imposing and awesome looking. He just takes a beating for you, but no, looking amazing. I'm really excited for this game. Let me mention then something I'm very much looking forward to. It's in the thumbnail, so I definitely have to mention this one, not just because I have to though, because I really, really, really cannot wait for this game, and that is the last case of Benedict Fox. Another awesome Metroidvania. This year seems definitely for me like the year of the Metroidvania, and I'm loving that. There's definitely so many incredible Metroidvanias coming out this year, so I'm ready to soak it all up. And this one looks amazing. Lovecraftian Metroidvania vibes, obviously. Amazing art direction, really cool and interesting sort of mechanics going on. Loving this part here we saw in the recent trailer with the tattooing going on, which is the abilities. So you get little tattoos with upgrade and stuff. Obviously you're opening up the world like a normal Metroidvania with abilities. I love that with the way Metroidvanias work in general, that you get piece by piece and you gradually unravel the world, and they're very much focused on that in this game. I love the atmospheric look to the game, the world of Limbo, where the black and white world is, where you go and you find out different parts of the other side of the world, and then like they say in the developer diary, both of those are going to play off of each other to give you different insights into other parts of the game. So just in general though, this game is supposed to be coming out the first half of 2023. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I really hope so, but for me it's just ticking every single box in general here. Benedict Fox looks amazing. I'm ready for it in every way to immerse myself. And the beautiful thing is, great little announcement recently, there's going to be a demo in the Steam Next Fest of this very game. So that's a good sign as well for it being hopefully coming up to some sort of release. And I'm definitely diving into that, guys. So you can keep an eye out for that one if you're interested in finding out a little bit of gameplay and me reacting to it as I play. I'll be doing a little video like that on this one. So feel free to check out that, guys, if once it pops up. But yeah, so you guys excited for this game, or?
It looks great.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
looks like a beauty. It's also Xbox Game Pass day one as well, guys, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, no,
that is cool.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it was in one of the Xbox showcases, the one where I think we saw Silksong shown to be Game Pass day one, the same one. This was shown off in that, and that was definitely one of my highlights of that show. But yeah, any others you guys want to mention for most anticipated for the year?
Nothing's coming to mind for me.
No, that's all good.
No, I'll keep it at the two. There are so many though. I mean, it's just a really stacked year for gaming in general, but particularly for indie games.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, indie. You've mentioned Hades too. How have you not mentioned?
That's what I mean. I was waiting for one of you.
The other one that's coming. The other.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay. We were trying not to be too obvious here, but yeah, obviously Silksong.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously,
it's just too obvious almost at this point. But yeah, are we okay? Are we thinking it's coming this year still, or are we? That's been some.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I don't think it will come the first half of this year.
No.
I think it will be a back end.
Yeah.
Game.
Backdoor Bandit.
But yeah, Backdoor Bandit. But if it doesn't, I don't know if UK Jazz is
Sorry.
But if it doesn't hit this year, that would, like I'm not too disappointed by that. As in, like, I want them to take their time with that game, Team Cherry. And they will.
Exactly.
And I trust them to do so. But if there's, if they feel like they need more time, then they can just take as much time as they need. Really.
Yep.
So, and I'll just say one thing as well. This isn't confirmed for 2023, but it's like the thing that I dream that happens, which is that we get Playdead's new game at some point this year
to release.
To release, yeah, I would love if that. I mean, that game has been in development for a long time now.
Yeah, I suppose
they notoriously take a long time with their games, which is absolutely fine because they are meticulously crafted.
Yeah.
But I just hope that would be that would make this year potentially like an all-time year for gaming. I think if they could release it,
just having Silksong and Hades in the same year, I think it's just gonna I think if we just had them 2 games and no other games ever, I think it'll be the best year.
yeah. Oh no, that'd be amazing. Can you imagine if Playdead's game came out as well? If all 3 of those games came out,
I think it's gonna be ridiculous. I mean, it's like so many wishes. Like if I was thinking about it, like I mean, obviously Dead Space coming this year as a remake. Pretty amazing as well. There's so many things.
Yeah.
There's obviously. I mean, other games that I'm really looking forward to as well. I mean, I know you've mentioned it in the past. We've got a game coming from part of the team of Playdead. Jep Carlson, the gameplay designer of Playdead, is making his own game with Cocoon. Which I'll flash up on the screen right now because I was super excited for this one as well. The gameplay looks very interesting with like the portal inside of a world where you jump into different elements which have different ways they make you interact with the world, which looks very interesting. But yeah, with Cocoon I think looks awesome. You're quite excited for this one, I think, as well.
Yeah, I love this one. I remember the trailer as well because I think like one of the things I loved about this was a lot of the times, like when games do alien worlds, which this is, they don't look very alien. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like it just looks like a human's kind of interpretation of what that world might look like. Which this is. It's probably a silly point, but this looks like a kind of weird world. You know what I mean? Like it looks very very different to typical kind of alien worlds that are in games. So I love that. And the kind of bug element, I just love the portal stuff, like the transporting through stuff. It looks like this controls so well.
It
like
does.
You just look at it and it just looks like it would be just a blast to actually move your characters.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with him being obviously the lead gameplay designer of Playdead, and the way that game Inside felt to play, it was just so right, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It just felt exactly right.
Very, very responsive.
Exactly.
Playdead's games in terms of game feel. So I expect the same.
Exactly. Yes, that bodes very well. Yeah, so and obviously the visual, I really like the visual look of it as well. So I think this one's going to be a really, really nice one. Annapurna are publishing it as well, which is rather cool. But yeah, definitely that's a nice one to look forward to. I might just reel off a couple of quick ones, just not go through them too much, but just so we can highlight a few more games, guys. But let me know in the chat if you have any others, and if you have any what you want to mention on the show, guys, just let me know. I'm just going to reel them off though, really. So one I'm looking forward to greatly is Skate Story, which is an awesome looking skateboarding game, which looks absolutely mad in a lot of ways, but absolutely awesome in a lot of ways too. Just the world looks crazy and interesting, and just the mechanics look really strong though at its heart. I think that's what's going to really help it obviously carry it through, because it's got to be fun and it's got to feel good to play. But yeah, I just like the idea of it being a completely different idea of a completely different take on skateboarding, and I think it looks really awesome. This one's been developed by Sam Eng, solo developer, and published by Devolver, so definitely check it out, guys. Give it a wish list. Excuse me. And one other I'm going to definitely mention is another Metroidvania. Like I say, guys, the year of the Metroidvania. Definitely looking forward to this awesome looking Japanese take on a bit of a Hollow Knight vibe, of course, but it's got its own identity for sure. This one looks amazing. It's called Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. I love the look of this game. Just absolutely beautiful. I love the way it's wearing all of its culture on its sleeve, like Luke said earlier with Shia or Chia, or however you pronounce that game you mentioned. It's a similar sort of thing. It's really wearing the culture on its sleeve, and I love that about this game, and I love Japanese culture in general. So this looks beautiful. I think it looks fantastic to play as well. Some great mechanics there, and very much excited for Bow Path of the Teal Lotus. Give it a wish list, guys. Definitely one for Metroidvanias to look out for. Let's see, any others I just want to quickly fire off. Let me send one Goat Force way quickly as we get close to winding this up. I know you mentioned it, you like this one. So Darkest Dungeon 2, my friend. I know it's in early access right now, if that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So have you tucked into this a bit then?
Yeah.
Okay,
if I tucked in, you mean like 50 or 60 hours?
That's tucked in. That's a good old
feeling quite comfortable. 50, 60 hours in, you've finished the tutorial at that point, and you're kind of at a point where you've figured out what's what.
That's a true gamer.
Darkest Dungeon 2 takes the series to the wagon, and you kind of feel like you're on the Oregon Trail a little bit. You're encountering things along the way, whether that's combat or an opportunity to get supplies. And across your journey, your characters are going to build up hatred or like for each other, and that can lead to both good and bad situations in combat. I'd say mostly bad. And so this game it's very similar to Darkest Dungeon in that you are constantly managing foul outcomes and trying to make the best of a very bad situation. And it's wonderful. It's punishing. It's difficult.
Yeah.
You're going to lose all the time, and it's a wonderful game.
If you go in with that understanding, yeah, exactly. You just can't go in thinking, oh my God, this game's kicking my ass, basically. You got to roll with the punches, basically.
You got to roll with the punches. You got to know what you're signing up for.
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
Sign the contract before you're going in saying, I'm signing up to get my ass beaten a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. That's the deal you're making with Darkest Dungeon. It's a wonderful game.
Awesome. No, fantastic stuff. I feel like the visual is a little bit above the first one as well. Quite similar design, but feels a bit more polished in general, but still that really gothic kind of dark sort of vibe, which is awesome.
The combat really pops. It is turn-based.
Yeah.
But the combat really pops, and when you're getting in there and doing the attacks, when something happens, some kind of bonus because of a relationship that you've built up over time, it just really pops on the screen like we're seeing here, and it's a really cool moment. So it's got a good feel to it, very visceral.
Nice, very nice, my friend. Good stuff. And Meisuko says, rogue games, beating your head on the wall while smiling until the wall gives up.
That is very accurate.
That is perfection.
Yeah, he has played a rogue or two. Sounds like it.
Love it. And some love for Skate Story in the chat as well. DeFloyd, shout out to you, my friend. Great to see you in. Thank you for being here. And saying Skate Story is a day one. Demgut says, yes, Skate looks fun as well there. Awesome to hear. Some love for Skate Story. Give it a wish list, guys. Looking cool. Let's just do one more pick then on my part. And if anyone else wants any more than that, they don't, no worries. We'll wind it up. I'm going to throw one random one that I don't think I've chatted about on the channel before. It's quite a polished looking game, but it is also a bit of an indie as well. I wonder if this one would be up Luke Street maybe, but this one is called Fort Solace. It's basically inspired by a bit of Dead Space, the developers have said, and also one of my favorite, basically a movie that I'm extremely passionate about loving, and that is a movie called Moon. I don't know if you've seen that movie. I love it. It's such a great movie. One night it was on TV. I didn't even really know much about that, and I just decided just to watch it, and I was just like captivated by it. So yeah, the desolate feel of it, being at one just alone and just with your thoughts and that vibe that they're going for. I think the combination of those two things sounds pretty amazing. So yeah, I'm really into this. I think it looks really cool. Like on I think it's Mars you're on, and it's like a mining post or something, Fort Solace is. And things basically go up the shitter, essentially. But yeah, no, we don't know loads about it at the moment, but it has got some great acting talent in there as well. It's built in Unreal Engine 5 as well, which is pretty cool. And the acting talent, Troy Baker, and the other chap that I've forgotten his name of. Maybe you guys remember that guy?
It's Roger Clark.
That's it. Well done. Thank you very much.
AKA Mr. Arthur Morgan. So,
that's it. Of course it is. Yeah, that's right. So pretty good talent going into this game, and just visually absolutely stunning. It's it is quite a narrative focused experience, and there's sort of like options to take different routes through the game. So it's not going to be like an action game or anything like blasting like Dead Space and stuff like that. But they say it's definitely a level above sort of just regular kind of like QTEs and things like that. They're going to have a lot more sort of weight to the decisions, and different gameplay elements are going to be more fleshed out than just that basic kind of thing. So yeah, it's quite a narrative focused experience, and yeah, I'm just sold by how it looks, and I love the feel, the desolate feel, the kind of like psychological feel to it, the unsettling feel. I think me and Luke are quite similar in this kind of thing. We quite like that sort of thing. Would you agree?
Love it. Yeah. Anything psychological / horror.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, no, I think it looks really cool. I just thought I'd throw that one out. I don't know if I've mentioned this one on the channel before, but there is literally so many games, guys. As you know, what I might have to do, I really would like to do this anyway, is do a little video, I think, maybe top games for 2023 upcoming indie games, and put together a list and compile all the thoughts, because it's hard to put together all of them, but consolidate it basically and bring it together as a video. If you'd be interested in that, guys, let us know in the chat or in the comments. Maybe that's something I can do, put together a video, because I do enjoy doing those compilation videos of top games and stuff like that. But yeah, so any others that you wanted to mention though, guys, before we sign off?
I'm good.
Cool. You good, Luke?
Yep.
You're all good. Lovely stuff. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute blast today. It's funny I didn't download the Silksong video, because it's such a no-brainer. Of course, we just mentioned that at the end. Silksong this year, it's the most anticipated, of course, but there is so many. It's not just that I'm hanging my hopes on one game. If that didn't even come out this year, I'd be plenty happy, but I really want it to come out this year. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, the chat has been amazing today. We've seen Dem Guts in the house. Is he one of yours, Goat Force, or has he been over?
I don't know Dem Guts.
Oh, really?
No,
okay, shout out to you for coming through for the first time, my friend. No, I've wondered if he popped over from your clan over there. But thank you very much for popping through, though, Dem Guts. It's been awesome having you, bringing some great takes in the chat there. Really appreciate it. And shout out to everyone else who's joined us. Meisuko in the house, as always, bringing awesome takes. Thank you for that, my friend. That's very kind. Mr. Dem Guts, lovely stuff. That name is classic, by the way, as well. And Diff Floyd, great to see you in as well, my friend. Thank you for being here. We had Stubbs Gaming. We had Max in the house. Great to see you in, my friend. Who else did we have? The Indie Journey was in as well. Thank you for being here, buddy. Who else did we have? Dragon Wolf was in earlier. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Great to see you. Paul AFC was in too. Excuse the pop there. I did just go hardcore on the P there. And the Friendly Pest, and everyone else who's joined us though for this show. It's been an awesome time. Really appreciate you coming through and hanging out with us. It's just what makes it come alive. So thank you very much for being part of it. But I'm going to say a massive thank you to my two legends that I've hung out with today. Firstly, thank you so much to Goat Force for being an amazing guest as always. You always bring such a great character, as well as passion and just knowledge in general of indie games and roguelike games in general. It's always an absolute blast hanging out with you, buddy. So thanks for coming back on the channel. Would you like to shout out where they can find you, my friend?
Yeah. No, thanks so much. No, it was a great discussion. I got through. This is a great excuse to brew a cup of coffee later in the day to hang out with both of you. And I love talking about rogues. So no, thanks. You can find my content at the Goat Force Gaming channel on YouTube. We are giving away a roguelike every single week this year. If I can do more than one, I'll be doing that. But every week I give away a roguelike or a roguelite. This week, we're giving away a copy of Spellbook Demon Slayers. I'm probably going to pick somebody in the next hour. So if you go out to the channel, look for that video, be subscribed, leave a comment. That's all I ask. Next week, we'll be giving away a copy of Tiny Rogues. Just a fantastic game. So, yeah, we've hit the 1,000 sub mark, and the channel is monetized at this point. All the not so much money goes right back into the channel in terms of giveaways. That was always the goal. So thanks in advance. It's been a blast, and this conversation has been a blast. So really appreciate the invite.
Oh, no, absolute pleasure to have you on, buddy. Thank you for being part of it. It's been a great time today. And my partner in crime, as I like to refer to him as, we're such criminals on this channel, aren't we? It's always an absolute pleasure to be able to... Yeah. It's always a blast to be able to do this podcast with you, buddy. Thank you very much. I'm glad we're back in the swing of it now after a little month off in January. It's been great to get back to it. Always bringing fantastic takes, my friend. Thank you for being part of the show today and the podcast on the regular. Would you like to shout out where they can find you, my friend Luke?
Yeah, sure. No, absolute pleasure. And amazing having Goat Force on. Really enjoyed that. Really great conversation. And I'll get Noita. I will.
Don't make me look bad.
I'll get
okay, we got witnesses. Nice. All right.
It's going to make me look bad now. I'll put a few
I'll
hours
finish
in.
it before you get
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear.
But yeah, absolute pleasure. And worth the wait through January, I think, this one, because it's a really fun show. So you can find me, I'll just quickly, obviously on here, and then also follow me on Twitter at LukeSteele90 as well.
Awesome stuff, buddy. No, that's fantastic. Thank you again for being a legend and a part of this podcast. It's always brilliant to be able to do this with you. And yeah, it's been fun getting back into it, actually, have to say. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. It's going to be an amazing year. We've got much to look forward to in general, games-wise, and got a couple of events to look forward to that I'm going to, which is WASD in end of March, and EGX at the end of the year as well, so that should be cool. And I believe, Luke, you're going to be going to WASD, aren't you, as well? Which
yes, I am.
That's going to be exciting, my man. Cannot wait. But yeah, no, just again, thank you so much to awesome people in the chat for hanging out. Really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world. We do focus all on indie games on this channel, and yeah, if you love indie games, it's a place to be. Check out some new games, and hopefully, you know, might see something that you haven't seen before that catches your eye, and it goes on your wish list, and you check it out and have a good time with it. Basically, that's what it's all about, sharing in that good stuff for the awesome undiscovered games and games that don't get as much attention as they deserve, I suppose you could say. But yeah, no, it's been great hanging out with you all. Thank you very much. Hit that like button, give us a subscribe, it would mean a lot. But otherwise, we will catch you again on the channel. Probably a video will be the next thing, but the podcast is a monthly, by the way, just to let you know. Best way is to follow us on Twitter. Mine's indie_gamer_01. Or you can check out the links in the description below for everyone's links as well. Give them all a follow. And we will always post when we're going to be doing the next Indie Games podcast, like I say. But there'll be videos in between, like I say, as well on the channel. So that's why a subscription always goes down well. But don't worry if you don't fancy that. It would mean a lot, though. But we're going to sign off now, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We will catch you again soon with some more indie game content. Catch you later, guys.
Everybody take care. Thanks again.